Hi there, my name's Al, and I bet you can guess what we're talking about today based on these sleeves. If you remember back in when Scarlet and Violet released, if you're in the competitive VGC scene before legendaries and things were added, Palafin dominated, and it's about to have an impact on the TCG, just like a splash, I want to say, with the upcoming set that it's coming out in, Twilight Masquerade, and it's gonna be super fun. I am so pumped for it, because I have been a Palafin believer, let's say, or hopeful one, since we got Palafin in the TCG. When we got Palafin back in, I'm pretty sure you know, Obsidian Flames, we got this amazing artwork with Palafin as well. And then again, we got it reprinted a number of times. There's so many Palafin, it was also a promo, and my goodness. And then there's stunning art from Paldean Fates. Anyway, I wanted to make it work, but then at that time when it was released, there was like no way to really make it work. I think the only thing is I saw Japanese lists putting it maybe in a weird Lost Zone idea, but when it came to like actual deck, it didn't have power to be one kind of thing. And then in Paradox Rift, Iron Valiant came out, and I was like, oh man, this is my time, maybe. We can do switching stuff, and maybe Palafin can do it, and not quite. But now Palafin EX, which was a surprise because it wasn't revealed officially before everybody knew what was going on. Everybody kind of knew it was coming because of a product that was shown off before the announcement, but that's okay. But yeah, that's my love for Palafin. Definitely gonna be just a fun deck of switching, and it's great. So Palafin EX is gonna be cool, and Japan just got Palafin EX and are starting to play with it, make decks, and we're gonna see how the meta changes with them. And then once we get the card, it's gonna be interesting to see what decks are made or what direction it goes in. So let's take this time to look at some Japanese lists or, you know, content and stuff. This is also my Japanese practice, okay? We're gonna go over this together. Maybe you'll also learn some Japanese, but no. It's really useful to look at, you know, what Japanese players are doing or things. And also, I really like that there's a lot of guides, it seems, when you're looking at like Japanese deck recipes, which are, you know, how they say, which is so great. I wish we used deck recipes as a term. I'll probably have to start using it because I love it. But I think we should do it. Let's take the time to look. And thanks for your attention. And like I said, I don't know that much Japanese, or I'm gonna fumble, but this is just kind of practice. And if you know Japanese, feel free to destroy me, but you know. Yeah, Japanese studies session. I got notes. I'm taking notes on these things and guides because I'm learning. Learn with me, okay? Okay. Let's get accustomed to names first off. So Finizen in Japanese, its name is Nami Iruka, and Palafin's name is Iraka Man, which is literally Dolphin Man. So Dolphin, I believe, is just Iruka, and so that's A+ in naming. French also got phenomenal naming with Super Dauphin. Super Dauphin. How can we top that? I'm gonna forever be bummed that we got Palafin as the name, but anyway. So I believe the optimal Finizen for this might be the one from Obsidian Flames. It's got 50 HP, but it's got Valiant Evolution. In Japanese, we're looking at Yuki no Shinka. The first part of this sentence is talking about using Finizen's move to evolve into Palafin. What I love about these cards in the TCG is that they act like they do in the video game really nicely. It has 50 HP, but it has Valiant Evolution, which says switch this Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. If you do, search your deck for a card that evolves from this Pokemon and put it onto this Pokemon to evolve it. Then shuffle the deck. Now, this works like it does in the video game, and I just love that a lot. That is what we're doing, and it looks like Shinka is evolution. And then it goes on to say we're going to replace Palafin with Kashi, which I guess is Abra. So this is the Abra that's coming out in the set as well, and it has the ability Teleporter, and it looks to be like the same wording in Japanese as well. Teleporter. By returning Abra from the field to the deck using the ability Teleporter, Palafin EX will be able to attack immediately. So that's nice. I am interested to see if decks continue to use Abra or how popular this is. Like I said, we're just going over this one for now, but there are many different lists and ideas going around. It talks about using Kieran as well to swap Pokemon and repeatedly kind of use Palafin's Giga Impact, or I should say Renpatsu, like firing in rapid succession. Okay, yeah, that sounds about right if you're using some switch options. Sayo shiteru osusume kado, so recommended cards to use. This site offers up Squovet. or Hoshigarisu. I think that's an interesting inclusion. You can reduce the number of cards in your hand with the ability Nest Dash and draw cards smoothly with Babarrel's ability, Industrious Incisors. That sounds like a good strategy. It's also useful when you have Palafin EX in your hand and cannot use Palafin's ability 0 to Hero. Palafin is going to have the ability 0 to Hero. So once during your turn when this Pokemon moves from the active spot to the bench, you may search your deck for Palafin EX and switch it with this Pokemon. Any attached cards, damage counters, special conditions, turns in play, and any other effects remain on the new Pokemon. If you switch Pokemon in this way, shuffle this card into your deck. So there's some interesting things going on. You're wondering, okay, that's cool. What does Palafin EX look like again? Well, it looks like a bulky guy at 340 HP. My goodness. This is kind of why people were talking about the card. Like I said, that it kind of is just an interesting thing that got swung at us, let's say. And its ability, Hero Spirit. I wrote 0 to Hero on one of them, but my apologies. Hero Spirit is put this Pokemon into play only with the effect of Palafin's 0 to Hero ability. So the TCG copying the video game, which I really love, and it does Giga Impact for 1 energy and 250. So very wild. That's Palafin EX. I was intrigued to see that Babarrel is used as an engine in this thing, rather than maybe to Dunsparce, which I've also seen, and could be a possibility. Since this Dunsparce card that we got, it's seeing so much play because it's pretty good. So you're gonna need Dunsparce as the pre-evolution, and this Dunsparce has free retreat. This is excellent. This is perfect. And then once you evolve it into Dunsparce, you've got that help of Runaway Draw, which says, once during your turn, you may draw 3 cards. If you drew any cards in this way, shuffle this Pokemon and all attach cards into your deck. Super cool. Dunsparce has seen so much play already because it's a really great card to have in the deck, and this is just perfect, and I really like this as the option. I am excited to see if people include that or include Babarrel or other things, but that was interesting. And then they also make a mention of Maximum Belt as the A-Spec potentially. So by attaching it to Palafin EX, you can increase the number of Pokemon EXs that can be defeated with the move Giga Impact. Combined with Kieran, the damage can be increased to 330. My goodness. So Kieran from the set, it looks like it says, so you can choose one, the switching, which is obviously awesome too in the deck. Or you can use the other one. During this turn, your Pokemon attacks do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon EX or active Pokemon V. Cool. So Kieran sounds really handy for this deck. Another surprising supporter they also mention is Professor Turo's Scenario. So they're saying to recover the damage Palafin EX as the potential strategy here. You get it into your hand, replace it. Once Palafin EX is returned to the hand, you must use Palafin's ability 0 to Hero to put it back onto the field. That's the thing. That's why I'm kind of surprised by this is, you know, maybe I'm just naive, but I imagine using Turo would be kind of... So the thing is, the Palafin setup is a little difficult or wonky. Like I said, this thing is a monster with the huge HP and it does huge attack, but the only cumbersome part is getting it into play, and it's not that hard, but I think if you're using Turo and trying to redo that, I wonder if it's, you know, worth it to be doing that. You'll have to let me know, but I think that's interesting. Let's look at some other potential stuff. Well, when Palafin came out, I already said, you know, kind of a little bit later, Iron Valiant came out, and Iron Valiant is a switching beast. So it damages Pokemon when it switches from the bench to the active spot. It says once during your turn, when this Pokemon moves from the bench to the active spot, you may put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. Now, because Finizen needs all that switching stuff, this just seems natural, and with the help of future booster energy capsules, you can have free retreat on Iron Valiant. As for items, Buddy Poffin is a clear one to add, probably. There's 4 of them. You'll use it to grab your Finizen and such like that, and Manaphy also works, all that stuff. Then I've got, you know, Ultra Balls, of course, to find some Pokemon and whatnot. There's going to be an A-Spec you can have one of. We've got Earthen Vessel, Counter Catcher, switching cards, because that is a staple. Switch card is also a great staple. Have 4 of them. Oh, that's the cat. Techno Radar is for Iron Valiant. If you were to play Iron Valiant with it, I think it's a great card because, you know, you get to discard a card and then search the deck for 2 future Pokemon. Pretty easy, pretty easy. Ionos are staples, Boss's Orders are staples. as well as probably Irida as well, because she is just a staple with water. She's great. There is a Gengar with Night Gaze as the ability. It says once during your turn, you may switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. So this has clear synergy, I think, with the Palafin, of course. And so running Ghastly, Haunter Gengar, that sort of line, I think could be a good call for the deck, maybe. I think anytime it can be more synergic with stuff, that's great. And we'll also see it in some lists. Tetsunoina EX, which should be Iron Thorns, but I love this. It's the natural enemy of non-EX decks. So I think that's pretty fair. Yeah, okay. But looking over here, we have more about the deck. They are also utilizing our Ghastly Haunter Gengar, some Buddy Poffins. We do have Jacques in there. That's probably good. Yeah. And then Arvin. We've got, TM Evolution, which is nice too. Like the stuff that's going on here. They also bring up Farigiraf. So while Gengar is an option, it looks like Farigiraf might also be an option. So this Farigiraf, I'm gonna have to look up. Oh, that reminds me, I need to pick up this art card at some point. Look at their faces. All right, we're gonna find the Farigiraf if it's the last thing I do. Oh my goodness, here we go. No, not just the visual. Oh, okay, find the Farigiraf. Here we are with the Palafin and Finizen and Palafin EX. Okay, here we go. So we got Farigiraf, mid-rumble. This attack does 40 damage for each stage 1 Pokemon you have in play. Okay, gotcha. I can see where it can be helpful for that. Eerie Wave, 80 damage. Your opponent's active is confused. Okay, but I see we have mid-rumble. It does 40 for each stage 1. And if you can get a number of stage 1s, the ones maybe we've mentioned and stuff, but especially, you know, our friend Palafin and stuff, you're able to get some damage. All right. And then let's wrap up by just looking again at a couple lists so far. So here we go. We're going to be seeing the Dunsparce in here in some of these. Again, it looks like there is a distinction between either choosing Bibarel or choosing Dunsparce, but it's cool to see. This first one also has the Feebas and the new Milotic, which is interesting. It's also got Mawile in there, which is something. The Prime Catcher is the ace-spec of choice. Kieran's here. Kieran's in, like, almost all of them. All of them on this page. My goodness. And then, you know, on to the next one. We also have a Monkey Dory in there. They also have the Abra that we saw before, which is interesting. Once again, going with Prime Catcher. If they got the hammer too, but this one's interesting. Then here's like a Lost Box kind of thing with Sableye, with Cramorant, and with the new Ursaluna. That's exciting. It's also got a Raikou in there. That's interesting. So, and he's got one of the Palafin that are came out in Obsidian Flames, so that's a little bit different too. Then, of course, we have, again, the one we discussed in the beginning with the Squovet and Abra and Bibarel and other things, and the Maxim Belt, whatnot, all that. I don't think the others have any Turo, do they? They've got Colruyt now. They've got Irida, Roxanne, Arvin. Yeah, I can see all this stuff being nice. And then, of course, the Dodun, everything. There's an Elekid in there, which is interesting. And yeah, they've even got, here's Perrin as well. So there's a lot of options to choose, it looks like, of course. And like I said, this is very early. So I just want to take a sec to go over them and talk about it. And I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. Like I said, when we get Palafin EX, it'll be in May with our Twilight Masquerade set. So it's going to be really cool to see how it does up until then, and then once we get it, how it does after, and how it's going to do in major tournaments that come up. So yeah, this is one that I think I'm excited for, and others are. I'm at least curious. And so thanks again for sticking around, for watching. Let me know if I missed anything or whatnot, or just let me know whatever you want. But I appreciate you so much for listening, watching, all that. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye!